I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform and our ongoing series as it relates to OperationFreedomHealth.com, which focuses on your health and your wellness information, the medical industrial complex, which is comprised of big pharma, big insurance, big medicine, such as the AMA. Those entities do not want you to know how you can control your health and wellness, which is why my guest and my friend, Dr. Peter Glidden, and I have done this series. We have done dozens of these videos. They are available at davejanda.com, operationfreedomhealth.com. They are also available on this YouTube channel, Operation Freedom Health, and on Operation Freedom. And our goal is to provide you information you're never going to see, hear, read, or experience through the bought-off lamestream fake media. My guest is Dr. Peter Glidden. He is one of the top naturopathic physicians, not just in our country, but the world. He is a great researcher, and he also is a phenomenal author. I encourage you to get his books. They should be your foundation of your medical library. His two books are available on his website, drglidden.com, Glidden, drglidden.com, or amazon.com. Everybody is sick, and I know why. An attempt to cure with holistic medicine. Today's topic is going to be the effects of blood sugar imbalance. And they are significant. And they cross many, many different paths. It's my honor to welcome back my friend and colleague, Dr. Peter Glidden. Peter, welcome back to the Operation Freedom Health platform.
Dave, such a pleasure to be here with you. I appreciate our time together very much.
As do I. So, Peter, let's get right into it. The effects of blood sugar imbalances. There are many, and they affect many different organ systems.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about this because this segues into a lot of different issues, both causative and symptomatic. So number one, there's between the wonderful world of normal blood sugar and actual diabetes, where you need insulin or you're going to die. In the middle of the road there's something called type 2 diabetes, which is rampant now in the United States. I think type 2 diabetes is one of the most rapidly growing illnesses in the country. And it's a problem. And oh, by the way, between the wonderful world of normal blood sugar and type 2 diabetes, which is also called insulin resistance syndrome or syndrome X, right? There's all these gray areas before you actually get to the place where you have an official diagnosis. Things are so bad that you actually have an official diagnosis. But in that gray area, and of course, after you hit that mark and then continue on beyond it, your life really starts to go to hell in a handbasket, but it's insidious. Because it's such a slow burn when you have a blood sugar issue. It's kind of like high blood pressure. Like 99%, and I just made that number up, the majority of people who have high blood pressure don't know that they have high blood pressure. They can't feel it. They don't really notice any difference, but then they go to the doctor's office, someone measures their blood pressure, they go to Walgreens, get a blood pressure cuff. Oh my God, my blood pressure's through the roof. I didn't know. It's the same with blood sugar. Because people aren't educated about what the signs and symptoms of a blood sugar imbalance are. And I'm telling you, man, it's like a New England fog. It creeps in on little cat's feet, and before you know it, you're in the middle of it. And it's like, holy smokes. So the symptoms of blood sugar imbalance, well, number one, high blood pressure. But mostly blood sugar imbalances affect people's mood. So you become short-tempered. You become irritable. You become mildly depressed in a way that kind of builds on itself. And it's not that you're like suicidal. It's just that things are like maudlin all of a sudden. And, you could win the lottery. Oh, isn't that great? Your kids come home and, oh, I just got a scholarship to Harvard. Oh, that's really nice. I'm happy for you. Your daughter gets engaged. Oh, that's great. It's like the juice of your life has gone away, but it happens so slowly that you didn't even know that it happened. And this is a problem because this issue is so widespread in the population, and just like Alzheimer's disease, the numbers are increasing, but they're not increasing slowly. They're increasing rapidly. And if you want to know which illnesses are increasing rapidly, just watch TV and look for the pharmaceutical commercials to see what they're targeting.
Right. True.
Right. So now this is interesting and frustrating all at the same time, because in the late 1950s, there was a medical researcher, a medical doctor, who discovered and published and proved a direct causal link between levels of the trace mineral chromium in the blood. And chromium is an essential nutrient, the same way that calcium is an essential nutrient. And when your body runs out of chromium, which it's very easy to do, by the way, your body starts having trouble metabolizing sugar. It's not because you have a bad gene. It's not because you're getting older. It's not because of chemtrails. It's not because of cell phone radiation. It's because you ran out of chromium. Why did you run out of chromium? Well, because the way that food is farmed for the last 100 years, less and less and less and less and less and less minerals in the food, minerals in the soil, minerals in the food. Chromium, of course, is a mineral. So the food that you're eating, even if it's 100% organic, you know, harvested by Trappist monks under a full moon while they're chanting, right? Best food in the world, won't have the appropriate minerals, won't have enough chromium in it. So you think you're eating the healthiest food in the world, but you're becoming minerally deficient slowly. Slowly is the operative word here. It's a slow burn. And then you wake up one day and you just don't give a crap anymore. Oh, and another symptom of a blood sugar imbalance, this is when it starts getting into the symptomatic zone, right? Beyond the symptomatic zone, when you're like approaching or you're actually at type 2 diabetes, you're out of the gray area. You fall asleep after you eat a meal. And or you wake up in the middle of the night after a couple of hours sleep and you're wide awake. Now, there are a number of things that can cause those symptoms. But the first thing to consider, if you have either of those symptoms, it's a blood sugar imbalance.
Got it.
And, you know, blood sugar imbalance, again, it's not an inherited thing. It comes along for the ride unless you're supplementing correctly, because your body just runs out of the stuff it needs to metabolize sugar appropriately. It's like the fuel line in your engine being clogged. The engine's going to sputter, and you're going to step on the gas, and it's going to hesitate, and it's not going to be good. All kinds of things happen, and it's the same thing when your blood sugar goes south. But from my point of view, having had personal experience with this, is the psychological ramifications. You just don't care. I mean, honestly, you could win the lottery, and it's like, well, that's great, whatever. It's like that, and that's not good. No. So a really, now, of course, the longer that so the problem here is that sugar is the gasoline of the body. And in order for everything to work the way that nature and God intended it to, you eat food, it takes the sugar, your body takes the sugar out of the food, sends it into the bloodstream, pancreas releases insulin, insulin binds to a cell, sends a signal to the cell to open a sugar door, so the sugar gets in the cell, which is the gasoline of the body. And it's a great thing. Sugar's a great thing. You couldn't blink an eyelash without it. Our DNA is made from it. It's fascinating stuff. It's not the Antichrist. The problem is how much sugar you're eating, number one, and number two, can your body metabolize it the way that it's supposed to? So when you can't, because you have a blood sugar imbalance, sugar lingers in the bloodstream too long. It's trying to get into the cell, but it can't. Can't get in. So it lingers in the cell. Can't get in. Lingers in the cell. When sugar lingers in the bloodstream for too long, all kinds of negative things happen long term, which is why people who are like severely diabetic, they lose their fingers, lose their toes, lose their feet, lose their hands, lose their legs, right? It's a diabetic neuropathy and diabetic gangrenosis, right? Because why does this happen? Because tissue becomes destroyed when it's in the presence of sugar for too long. Circulation gets messed up, hormones get messed up, everything gets messed up. It's not pretty. And the problem is it's a slow creep.
Right.
Most people aren't even aware of it. So, which is why this is such a wonderful job. Because, we give people the raw materials that their bodies need just to work the way that nature and God intended it. And then in this case, a little extra blood sugar support. That's not a bad idea. Is that a bad idea? No, it's a great idea. Can you overdose on it? No, you can't. Well, you can. If you took like 30 bottles a day, you could overdose on it, right? So taking too much is not a problem. And my guess would be that 60% of the people listening to this have a blood sugar issue and they don't know they have a blood sugar issue.
60%.
60% at least. And if you're over 40, 60%. So we put a pack together. It's called the blood sugar support pack, right? And it's got the foundation, the 90 essential nutrients from the foundation pack, plus blood sugar support. And in this regard, it's two products. One is called Sweeties, SWEETEs, Sweet Ease, right? Pretty good. It's got a lot of chromium in it, plus some other things. And the Good Herbs Pancreas Support, which has some really great botanical medicines in them that have been clinically documented and proven to deal with blood sugar issues. It's got gymnema leaf in it. It's got hawthorn berry in it. It's got bitter melon in it. Botanical medicines which have been used for decades in the modern era, science-based, clinically verified, to help people optimize their blood sugar metabolism, and before that used for hundreds of years through folklore. So it's a great combination, and I'm really pretty excited about talking about it because I can guarantee you that the majority of our listeners who try this are going to feel different. All of a sudden their mood's just going to be better, right? Or they're going to start sleeping through the night, or they're not going to fall asleep on the couch after they eat dinner. They're not going to fall asleep at work after lunch. It's going to just melt away. And when that stuff normalizes, when your body starts metabolizing sugar the way it ought to, it's a game changer, significant for the quality of your life in the short term and for dodging physiological badness in the long term, right? It's a wonderful thing to do. Everybody should do it.
Now, Pete, the question I have is this. Many people believe when they start taking a supplement, within 24 hours, they're going to be fixed. Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, people are like, okay, well, I expect, that this is going to start and I'm going to notice some significant changes immediately. How soon would people start to notice a change, and when will they start to see a maximal effect? Because one of the issues with this blood sugar imbalance thing there is weight gain, right? So people think, okay, well, I'm going to start on this program, and within a week, I'm going to be down 10 pounds, right? So for example, with the weight gain issue, so first of all, when will folks start to notice a difference on a lot of the symptoms, whether it's anxiety or fatigue or learning disabilities or headaches or weight gain? When will they start to notice a difference, and when will they really see kind of start the, if you will, the more significant effect of this type of intervention?
So the reason that everybody wants instantaneous results is because of 100 years of socialization by Big Pharma. Right? You got a headache, you take the Tylenol, 30 minutes later, the headache's gone. That's pretty immediate. You go to the dentist's office, they give you the Novocaine injection. In 10 minutes, you can't feel a darn thing. It's pretty immediate, right?
Right.
That's what everybody's used to. But that's not what is going on here. Because what's going on here, we are attempting to make the system healthy. We're not simply mitigating or suppressing symptoms.
That's right.
We're building the house rather than just patching it.
Yeah. Excellent analogy. Yeah.
Good. So now, You think about it. You know, the 50-year-old woman who is 100 pounds soaking wet is going to probably experience more rapid results than a 300-pound man, right, who's never exercised a day in his life. So there are variables at play here: height, weight, age, metabolism, right? All these things, the amount of exercise that you do a day, right? All these things, how good you are with the 12 bad foods, right? A lot of variables. But generally speaking, as a real broad brush, our recommendation is for something like this, you try it for 90 days, right? 90 essential nutrients for 90 days. That's 3 months, more or less, give or take, before you judge it up or down. Most people with a blood sugar imbalance will experience a noticeable difference subjectively, like in their mood or their energy or their sleep, right? Within 6 weeks.
Okay.
Now, again, the dosage is important. And the veterinarians figured this out a long time ago. That's actually where most of this comes from, is the work that was done with animals nutritionally. So, you know, the little Chihuahua gets a significantly less amount of nutrients in their dog food than a St. Bernard does. Because the St. Bernard's 10 times bigger than the Chihuahua, so it needs 10 times more nutrients, and it's the same with the human being. So, you know, we had to start somewhere with figuring all of this out. And again, it is a broad brush. So generally speaking, the recommendation is approximately 1 healthy foundation pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month.
Okay.
It's a good place to start. Now, and that's what I would recommend everybody do who wants to see whether they have a blood sugar issue or not. You get 1 of the healthy blood sugar packs for the first month. You take it as recommended, eliminate the 12 bad foods, and look to see how you feel. If nothing significant or nothing noticeable has happened in 4 weeks, then I would increase the sweeties and the pancreas support. I would stay with the foundation pack at the same dosage, but I would get an extra bottle of the sweeties and an extra bottle of the pancreas support and just calculate the dose there. How do you do that? Well, you divide the number of capsules in the bottle by 30, the number of days in a month, and that's how many you take a day. So if there's 120 capsules in it, that would be 4 a day. You do 2 twice a day. It's easy breezy. And with the good herbs, it's 4 milliliters per bottle per day. So what I like to do with the good herbs is you split that up. So for 1 bottle, it's 2 milliliters twice a day. You get 2 bottles, it'll be 4 milliliters twice a day, right? Easy to figure out, and there's a milliliter dosage on the little dropper bottle. So that's how I would do it initially. And unless you're like 400 pounds, I can't imagine anyone would need more than 2 bottles of sweeties a month in order to notice a significant difference. And by 90 days, it should be a lock. Right, the one thing that you need to pay attention to here is, and this is a cruel trick of God, I think, but when you're moody, most people don't know that they're moody. It's just how it is. And when your mood lifts, unless you're very mindful of your life, which most people aren't, you're going to feel better and you're going to feel happier, but you're going to forget that you were a miserable old coot 4 weeks ago.
Right.
But other people in your life won't. So you want to look to other people in your life to help you gauge whether or not your mood is improved, right? Which is an interesting conversation to have with people. But nonetheless, that's the nature of that beast. And there's a lot of promise here in this. And if I was the king of the world, the foundation pack would have the sweeties. The sweeties would be a part of it for everybody. Because the problems with blood sugar metabolism are widespread. I would say epidemic, and it's not going to get better because farmers aren't taught how to put minerals in the food, and more's the pity.
My experience is, and my personal experience is when I started taking the foundation pack, the first thing I noticed was I felt my energy. It felt like I had almost had a recharging event.
Yeah. Most people's energy, because they have blood sugar issues and they don't know it, because they're in the gray area,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Most people's energy levels go like this.
Yeah,
All
right.
right?
Right.
When your blood sugar becomes normalized, it's like this.
Yeah, I used to notice a 3 p.m. crash where I'd feel like, ugh. And the first thing I realized when I was on the foundation, I was not getting that 3 p.m. I'm just, God, what time? What time is it? 3 o'clock. Oh, I wasn't getting that.
That's, by the way, that's an interesting cultural thing to talk about. That's why they have tea time in England. It's for that reason. Because everybody's crashing in the late afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you've been up all day and you've been working? Well, that's part of it. But I would argue that it's because not enough minerals in the soil, not enough minerals in the food, but nobody knows that.
Right.
So this is a game changer.
Yeah, it really is.
For a lot of people, and it's exciting. And because the octopus of blood sugar imbalance has so many tentacles,
mm-hmm.
that reach into so many aspects of your life, when you sort this out and get it straight, it beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Now, earlier in the video, you mentioned 12 bad foods. We have that video. It's for free. It's up on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Full disclosure, the products that Peter and I spoke about today are also available on OperationFreedomHealth.com, plus more information on those products. And if you're interested in purchasing those products, if you do purchase on OperationFreedomHealth.com, that does support the Operation Freedom platform. Peter, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. Educate our listeners on how they can follow you on a daily basis.
drglidden.com. Easy breezy lemon squeezy. And I have a subscription service there. And my subscribers enjoy hundreds of hours of instructional tutorials that talk about stuff that Dave and I talk about all the time, but a little more in depth. And 2 hours of live chat with me every week. So you log on to the live chat channel. If you're a subscriber, you have access to it. We do it Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Time and Thursday mornings at 11 a.m. Central Time. People from all over the world join the chat and ask me questions, and there's a public room also where people are chatting amongst themselves. It's a lot of fun, and it's very informative, I think, if I can pat myself on the back a little bit. Mm-hmm. But mostly, in addition to the information, which you can get kind of like a free doctor's visit, really. Not free, but we charge $21.95 a month for it. It's practically free. I think one of the more important aspects of it is the community.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, you start talking about stuff like this to your neighbors, like 75% of them are going to think you're a nutball. Right. They don't know.
No.
They think that holistic medicine is, people from the 60s in Birkenstocks with long hair and tie-dye shirts. I mean, a lot of people think that. It's nuts. People have no idea what is going on here. But the people that do are great. And it's really great to spend time with them, even if it's virtual. It's a wonderful experience. And I encourage everybody to go to drglidden.com, check it out.
As do I. Peter, thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. Folks, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janis signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today. drglidden.com and OperationFreedomHealth.com. Have a great day.